Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play for this channel. This one's going to be doing a special edition of Silent Hill 2. This is the enhanced edition. Super sexy.
Sexy.
I am joined by a very good friend, Rob, and fellow survival horror enthusiast.
Hell yeah!
Let's see. And again, we actually did try and do a game of this many moons ago on the PC version. I think it was before this enhanced edition was even around.
Yeah.
And we got a little bit into it, but we never kind of continued it, and it was a shame because I'd enjoy it. I'd like to kind of share this game because I know we both like it. I know you love the first.
I think that's my favourite.
It will be good to have some opinions from both us and both sides and just experience it.
Being like, I hate it all. Crap, this is not as good.
But plus, I've never seen. I've seen little clips of this, like what it looks like, and it's just like mind blowing. But I've never seen the full game through all the cutscenes and stuff like in this version. And I've been playing the HD one recently, which is like god awful. so I'm gonna be like just like jizzing in my pants and stuff doing this.
But not kind of only just the HD version, the 360 version.
Yeah, which is not even the patch.
Yeah, like the worst version of the worst version.
Yeah.
So good.
So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do the main story, which is going to do like normal, and we'll see how quickly we can get through it. We're going to do like, I don't know, maybe like in hour sections, and we'll just do it in turns and just see how it goes through. But interested to see how this kind of holds up, because I've subjected myself to the terrible version so much recently.
I mean, because even this compared to the original is like insane.
And there's so many like little artistry things as well. Like in the HD, it doesn't have this depth of field where he's out of focus. It just it's like there's so many issues with the graphics on the HD one that this kind of puts right. It's almost just like having a higher res PS2 version, isn't it?
I mean, this is insane because this is basically a remaster by just a bunch of random dudes.
Yeah, and everyone says it's like fans doing what Konami won't.
It's true, like, but even to the point that not kind of only, or is it just they've like or up-resed all like the backgrounds and stuff, but they've actually gone back and replaced some of the like camera angles to be a bit like better.
But the question is, who left the notes written around the Silent Hill?
And also in the HD version, the bank is like almost touching the top of the tree, and it's like a straight horizontal line.
There's a line. Yeah, I remember that.
But look, you can even read the lettering on the bloody the blocked road sign.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's great.
I think like James is about to like jizz his pants with excitement because it's like his favourite game, looking as good as it can.
It's so good, and it's like with the street textures. It's like in the HD collection, they were like, let's just give it our new pavement.
It's like plain,
it's just plain
grey,
block.
just grey.
Yeah.
That's what I keep telling myself.
Yeah. And it's nice to press start without having the option of selecting original or new voice. And it's proper cheap on the HD collection. They put the default of what you start on is the new voices. You have to go down.
I'm looking for her.
It just seems such a weird thing for them to have spent loads of money on. Like, okay, let's get proper voice actors to redo voices that were already amazing.
And it's also like if you watch like some are like the making of and stuff. There's like a documentary by Fun TV. It came as like a second disc with the special edition.
Yeah, I remember.
And they talk about like the characters just being everyday kind of people. So they didn't want them to be like super Hollywood sounding. They wanted
really
them
gruff. I'm James Sunderland.
They just wanted them to be like average people. And it says something like 50 or 60 people were cast for the roles, and only like 4 or 5 were chosen or something. So like they really had something set in mind. Look at like the static background images as well. It's like proper nice. But also they have they were saying, oh yeah, like they chose these specific voice actors because they were like the characters they had imagined.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not because of the way they say it, it's because they kind of think they suit that, what they've written. And if you ever like look at Guy Seehey in interviews or like talking about James and stuff, he's like it's like Piccadilly Circus in it. But the fog looks like proper nice as well, because in the HD clip it's just a wall, it's just a square line that just follows in front of you.
Well, I mean, this is what took the guys who remastered this so long, was trying to match the fog of the original PS2 one, because like, of course, what Team Silent were proper amazing at was using the like PlayStation 1 and the like PlayStation 2 to like their max, working out the little things they could get away with. So the fog was really hard to replicate. So that's why
save it just yet.
That's why the Xbox version looks crap.
Yeah, because it just can't handle the same.
Yeah.
There was also a tweet about it by Masahiro Ito, and he was just saying, "Oh, it's just like where we meet Angela and stuff."
Here we go.
But there was also a tweet about it where he says the PS2 has a really good way of dealing with translucent textures, but the PS3 and Xbox can't in the same way, so that's why it doesn't transfer well. So yeah, they kind of tailored it to that one console.
Well, you'd have it with like in certain Resident or Evil games in their ports, where you try and stand in like the blood that appeared on the floor, and it would like your shadow would make it like slowly disappear.
Yeah.
Where you couldn't have two different transparency layers on top of each other.
Is this the right way?
But that's the thing, it's like nowadays with like these kind of passion projects and modding and stuff, like fans make, you know, some of these old games look better than they ever have. So good.
But
Yes?
I think you'd better stay away. This town.
I mean, really, this set the standard not only for like or FMVs at the time and like facial like but also, even though the voice acting is kind of shit, it kind of suits the or like you were saying, it really suits the tone and the like character. So like, it really set the standard for what voice acting like could be in a game.
And also, like,
either way.
as I was saying, I've watched like a couple of interviews with Guy Seehey, who does the voice acting for James.
I'm looking for.
And he was saying that they used to have a team of people who would watch them and they'd perform them live on stage. So essentially,
I'd do anything.
They would mocap this like in rehearsal. So they'd have two people doing all the animations, walking back and forth, like doing all the mannerisms, acting out the scene, and then as soon as they nailed it, they'd go into the sound booth and kind of try and capture that best performance.
Okay.
So it wasn't like they were all separate and just doing their lines on their own and just not getting the right tone. They'd act them out person to person on stage, get the right kind of emotional kind of bounce back from each other.
I mean, there was a word that they really like needed them to put a lot of emphasis on because it was important to, or where you had to go, or something you had to do.
And they were like constantly like supervised, and they were like, no, do that again. But with the HD one or whatever, it's just like, here's the script, go in a sound booth, have a couple of goes.
Don't.
But that's what I mean, and that's what he says, because these were acted out in motion capture and voice acting in person. You also get that mix of good chemistry because you're acting with another person.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and also that HD collection, it changes this sign to Comic Sans. Yeah. And it's like,
oh, that's the best thing ever.
And it's just like loads of people were just like, oh, look what great work they've done, they've changed it to Comic Sans. And
I mean, that has to be a troll. That has to have been done on purpose.
But they've just changed random pointless things just to try and be like, oh look, we made this door look newer. and stuff, and it's just like they've just tried to put plasters over little bits here and there, but it's like there was no need for that. You're adjusting things that don't need changing and then ruining other things.
I mean, like it seems to be like a history with both like Capcom and Konami
Yeah.
of just not being able to like fully remaster one of their games and just
Yeah.
like hit it 100. Like, I mean, there's been times
what about Remake? Because they had the HD one that came out on like next gen, like PS4 and all that.
yeah,
'Cause-
but those are remakes. I mean,
Oh no! I mean, I say you mean remastering the original?
Yeah,
Okay.
as in like, you know, you try to just make it look a bit better. I mean, like it happened with like the Resi 2 and Resi 3 on like the game like Cube.
Oh yeah.
But they're not like perfect. There are quite a few things when they transported it that weren't quite
Yeah.
right. And of course, like hardware is a reason,
Mm.
but there are just weird things like with Resident Evil 1 and the fact that they never introduced the original or intro.
Oh yeah,
Stuff like
there's
that.
that Japanese one where it's like so much more hardcore and it's like in colour and stuff. And they were meant to put it in the director's cut, weren't they?
Yeah, but there are also versions that have a quick turn,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but barely any of the Western versions have that. It's just it's really
strange.
weird.
No, yeah. When I said remake, I was thinking of an existing game that they've tried to
Oh, yeah.
upgrade slightly, and
They always mess up somehow.
But yeah, I remember when I played that looked pretty good because the GameCube one still looks great.
Oh yeah,
And the one we played or have been playing, which was the Let's Play we did on this channel for the remake. Again, it looks super like good with the mods and like the slight adjustments and stuff. But it seems again that's just from random creators. That's not
Yeah.
even from like the people who make the game or put money into it and stuff. And it just seems strange because I've always said, because I've chatted with it on a few different like forums and like communities and stuff about Silent Hill, that like even if they just released, because I think the PC versions of these are probably the closest you'll get, like the standard vanilla PC versions of 2, 3 and 4 are probably like the best kind of version you'll get close to like a HD one without having to mod and stuff.
but they're really awful as well. Like so, but the actual like if you don't like install anything to like but to make them look
Yeah.
or any nicer or to like work with modern controllers, they are really bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean in terms of like if you were to remaster,
Yeah.
it'd probably be best to start from that and
Oh,
then
hell
build
yeah.
on that. But I think when they done the HD one, it was like beta code of the PS2, and it was like there was missing data and bugs and stuff. So that's
Well,
why
and
it
they
turned out
used-
so glitchy in that.
So here is a perfect example. On the PlayStation 2, the or FMVs were all in 60 frames,
Yeah,
which was kind of that was unheard of back then.
yeah.
They used the original or Xbox versions of the FMVs
Oh,
that are
okay.
in 30 frames,
Oh, right.
but then they realised they had to be in 60, so they used this thing called frame interpolation,
Yeah.
which or adds an extra frame in.
It's like super
So when you play the HD Silent Hill
Yeah.
thing, all the
all
FMVs
washed
look
out.
proper blurry
Yeah, they do,
because
yeah.
there's like loads of like
It's like ghosting. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas like, but you see on this, these FMVs look proper good.
No,
like,
no, they look sick. But yeah, no, and also there's like issues with like letterboxing and how they've like stretched the ratios.
oh, that's insane when it just randomly appears and,
And
then
then
just
goes.
goes away, like scene to scene. Yeah.
What the hell?
And it shows what happens when you just hand it to a studio that hasn't really ever had to do anything like that before.
But also people will say it because I think it's Hijink Studios that made it, and people were like, there's another team that were known for doing good HD collections, and I think they're called Blue Point, and they done God of War,
Oh, okay, yeah.
the Metal Gear Solid HD collection,
Oh,
and
that
al-
is how you do it.
and also I think there was one other. I think it was Shadow of Colossus and
Oh, okay.
and iCode, and everyone was like they've made like some successful thing, and they were saying how they do it is they get a fully
better take it
working retail version of the game to know that they've got everything they need, and then they backwards engineer it.
Okay.
So they take it apart and then make a fully functioning PC version and then edit it from that. And apparently that's like the best way to do it. And everyone's like, why don't they just give it to Bluepoint to do? But again, because
they wanted it on the cheap. That's why they wanted to do it for as little money as they can.
But that's the thing. It's a blessing we still get stuff like this. I mean, I've still got my PS2 and stuff, and I'll fire this up now and again. But seeing it on like a proper like big screen, full screen, and like looking like this, it's just like, yeah.
Well, you really can see how much work went into like the textures.
Yeah. Especially on like the indoor environments when you get close-ups of stuff and that. Looks proper nice.
But it's like we're reaching a point now where they're about to close the PlayStation 3 store,
oh, yeah,
PlayStation Vita store. So that is the last place you can actually buy Silent Hill 1.
Oh yeah.
And the first 3 Resident kind of Evils. So that's the last place you can actually officially pay for them.
Yeah.
Like unless you go on eBay and buy like a second-hand version of like.
And it's weird to think. Oh yeah, and there's like the little jump scare with the van.
Yeah, this made my like girlfriend who you heard earlier. She was playing up to this point, and it was like, no, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah. But I remember when I first played it on the PS2 when I got my copy from like Blockbuster when I was like, I don't know, 10 or 12 or so. Probably should have been playing it at that age. But I remember like playing it with a friend, and we were just kind of just wandering around not knowing what to do. And I remember that bit like proper caught us off guard. And it's like one of the only ever jump scares in the entire game. But it's just so like unexpected. It's just like, oh shit. But what I was going to say is, you said about the stores and purchasing stuff online. That's what I was thinking about this game, because I was thinking, I was like, what if they even just released like the very basic PlayStation versions of the game just on the PlayStation Store, and you could just download them?
Oh yeah.
It's like I was like, people would pay good money for that still, so it's like, why not just do that?
Well, same with the original Resident or Evil games. Like it's like the 25th anniversary of the first game. And really, unless you're in a PlayStation 3, or you want to go on eBay and pay crazy cash for like some original like PC version, you're kind of forced into having to find or other ways that maybe are not so legal to get it. And it's just this
was the thing I was thinking when I wanted to play these games again, because it had been a few years. The HD collection was my only available option, because I didn't have a PS2 anymore, and the only option was to get a PS2 again. I had to buy a PS2 on Gumtree, like one of the slim ones, for like £20 with a bunch of games in there, and then just get all these again off eBay. I still had my copies, but there was like the odd one, like 4 and stuff, that I didn't have.
Yeah.
But most of them, I was just like, and also it's like Mary's clothes on the mannequin. Like
that got me. I wasn't expecting that. That's so good.
Yeah. No. I've had a good few runs of this over the last week or two. So I know like what rooms have got what in them, and there's like one in here and shit. And it's like just get the ammo. But I love the aesthetics of the. It's not in this one. I love the aesthetics of the Woodside Apartments.
Yeah,
they're so cool. And I don't know what it is, because there's no real official like later on in the games. There's nothing down there. I do like checking all the doors though. But and another good thing that the PS2 version introduced is the pressure sensitive controls.
Yeah. So on this you have to you have to hold it down to get him to swing, or you'd like.
Yeah, if you tap it, you do those quick strip. But if you hold it, he does like an overhead one. Yeah. So if you go like that, that's like the hard. It's like they really utilised everything they could on the console to try and be like, because it was only tailored for this one console to be an exclusive. So then nowadays, when you get games that release multi-platforms all at once, you don't really get any cool little features that are like, oh, that's just for PlayStation or that's just for this.
Yeah.
But like
true.
back in these days, it's like they made it with that in mind. One thing I do quite like is I don't know if you've ever seen it. I think there's documentaries for all of them. But on the Metal Gear Solid games, there's a making of Metal Gear Solid 4 documentary, and it's, I don't know how long it is. It's like an hour long or something, and it just shows like the day-to-day working office of like Konami and like Kojima overseeing
And it
everything.
looks like a Russian like gulag. And it's just people chained to desks, getting whipped.
But they show things.
Make my fucking pachinko machine.
But they show clips of like little like things, and they'll show him like he'll like go round to like everyone's desk, and he'll give him like a notebook, and it'll be like everyone has to come up with at least one idea a day, and then we'll review that. And he shows like everyone's involvement and how directly he's involved, and you can see him like at his desk playing it, and he'll test like every little movement, every like possibility of what does what, just to test that stuff is working. And then he'll go back to him and be like, when I hang off this ledge, the rain stops or something weird like that. And it's just like really what do you call it, meticulously going over like every little thing that the player might come across, and it might be a bug. I know they get play testers in and stuff, but it just shows like how in depth it's like proper looking into every little thing. And I think that's what like these games were like. You can really tell if you watch interviews with the people who made them how like really caught up they were on trying to get it as good as possible. And it wasn't just like, look, we've got a deadline, let's just get it done with. It was proper like, no, this needs to be better, that needs to be better, even if they had to like delay it like by tons.
Well, and look, I think it's also, we're starting to reach a point where hopefully games will...
Looks proper good on this as well. It's like just a mess of red on the PS2 one.
Creepy. I think we're reaching a point where like games developers are starting to get over.
And this wallpaper and like the wooden
so
pan.
cool.
It reminds me of like Hollister. Do you remember like that wallpaper that you used to have in Hollister?
But I think games developers are starting to get over the need to have these vast games that take 200 hours to complete.
yeah.
I think what like goes in favour like this and the early Resident Evils is the fact that they were like games that lasted for 5 or 6 hours. I mean, maybe your first time or 8 or 9.
Yeah, but then once you know what you're doing.
But there's less issues that can go wrong with that. Like, but that's easier to kind of like keep hold of in a sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at Cyberpunk. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's like as soon as the scale goes huge,
Yeah, you just run into issues.
there's so many things that can go wrong. So many things. That can
Also, I love this room.
yeah. Is this like the one
This
with
is
like
like
the
the
dog
moth.
cages?
This is like the moth,
Oh,
and it's like the
yeah.
moth one, and it's like
Creepy.
proper like Silence of the Lambs, like Buffalo Bill
Yeah.
with all the like the books and all that, and just that weird sound.
But yeah, so my hope is like that they'll release official, even don't remaster them. Just
Yeah, even that's what I was saying about that. Even if people just released the straight ports of it,
You know-
I'm sure people would still pay for them. So, and I'd pay for having a modern kind of new console, but being able to play Resident Evil 1, 2 and 3, even if they just were the normal versions.
well, because like, or with this, I had to get this version through like not so legal ways. But like, there's no other choice. Or what? Pay
Exactly.
£200 for a PC version?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
I mean, that's insane. Like, and they could quite easily earn money from.
I know, that's what I was going to say. I'm
I mean,
sure
there is a market.
people would pay good money to have them again. So it's just like, I don't know why they're not utilising that. I was watching a stream the other day of someone doing a speed run of Silent Hill 4, and they were saying that the only like officially buyable PC version that's available online on something like Steam or something is there's a GOG version of 4, which is actually pretty good, and it's only like £10 or something. And it's like, why can't they just do that with the other 2 PC versions?
No.
Also, an interesting thing I've heard a couple of theories on is the clock here, the writing on the side of it that says the scars. No, the nail that stops. Oh, what is it? Something like removing the nail will stop the scars of the past, or something like that.
Yeah.
And people assume it's different on different difficulties, but people assume the time it's stuck at is
when
the
she
time
died.
is when she died.
Okay.
Yeah, so I thought that was quite clever. But on
We-
normal,
we
it's just
should,
10
like-
past 9.
We should probably say that we kind of will
Yeah,
say lots of things that are
spoil,
going to spoil the game.
Yeah,
like-
here
yeah.
The scars from the past shall remove the nail that stops time.
Okay.
So people think it's because he's in his own kind of like reality.
yeah.
It's almost like until he kind of realises he can't move on.
I mean, this is probably like a good point to start actually like talking about the influences of this and like what this, because
Yeah.
it's quite an ambiguous game, like because there's multiple endings and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
and I mean, the whole idea.
Well, when I first recorded, like I just recorded the PS2 version of it because that's all I had. When I realised my game capture could capture it, is I tried because I thought there might be the odd person who's never seen it that might watch.
Yeah.
I really held off until the very last part
Talk
to talk
about
about the ending.
How do you get that? Yeah, like
So there
there's
was
a lot to talk of.
So that's the thing. There was so many little things I wanted to be like, that's like when you know the ending, that bit will make sense and stuff. But I was really tempted to just talk about things.
I mean, so
Oh, here we
look
go.
at that, full HD. I mean, so we did have a discussion just before we started, playing this. There, we added the noise.
Oh, yeah.
Noise
filter.
which was
Pretty
in.
good.
But the game does look a lot sharper, or without it. But we felt that it added
Yeah, it adds like that kind of like atmosphere to it as well. It looks proper good.
He's a spooky boy.
He's got his like little tongue hole and everything that comes out. Because I didn't know that for years. I saw, I don't know, maybe I saw a picture or a clip of it or something. But that little hole at the side, he has like a little black tongue that comes out. Well, I didn't know that because I think when I used to play it, I used to manage to not, because he only does it if you picture up by the throat and you see it come out. And then I saw a picture. And everyone's like, oh, when his tongue comes out. And I was like, what tongue? And then I saw a picture of it, and I was like, since when's he had a tongue?
Oh, I ain't seen no tongue, boy.
Yeah, and also we were saying about this bit and the key that's just on the side.
Oh, don't. So, yeah, I played this recently, and I ran past this key, and I must have spent an hour searching every bloody room in this place.
If you look, he's like slightly out of it. You have to like back up.
And look how dark this place is as well. So as soon as you walk out, that's in pitch black.
Yeah.
So the only way you're going to see it is if you luckily go, oh yeah, what's in there? And it just looks like a tiny little closet. You wouldn't think to go in there. But when we started, we kind of spoke about how this isn't my favourite Silent Hill.
Oh yeah.
That I prefer or
one.
Yeah, and that's not to take away from this.
Oh yeah.
This is one of the greatest games ever made. The problem for me is that it works as a kind of a side story to the main story.
Yeah, exactly.
But because it was so successful,
people try and really heavily use the themes and mechanics of this game.
Yeah.
As that is Silent Hill. And I was watching a video recently, and someone was like, the creators of, I think it was Downpour, maybe.
Yeah.
Were like, yeah, and I think it's Devin. Tom Hewlett was in charge of, I think, maybe Homecoming, Homecoming HD collection and involvement with Downpour. And
he should be ashamed.
And again, Downpour is heavily linked to it's some kind of purgatory, and until you can face up to your past, you can't leave and stuff. And there's also other things in the other games that lean on that, and there's interviews with like the creators, and they're like, I didn't care for all like the occult stuff in the first game and the third game. I just like 2, and you can see that that's why they've just copied everything from 2 ever since like after 4. Post 4, everything is a copy of Silent Hill 2. And it's and it shouldn't be.
And then really 4 isn't even a Silent Hill game.
No,
it's a Silent Hill by throw a name.
It's like a B team. It was like
Yeah.
Oh, so.
Or the lads. But yeah, it's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, this is a proper amazing game, and as like a little side story to kind of like, I mean,
it gives a little bit more of the town's history and stuff through like certain documents you read, so you kind of learn a bit more about how the mechanics of it work and its past and its like prison history, and like, you know, theories about like the spiritual power that comes from like the natives that used to live there and stuff, and how that plays into like how the nightmare manifests in the first game, and it's like Alessa's like mental projection. That's how things actually come to life and things.
But the idea that Silent Hill itself is a place where everyone that's done wrong is brought back to.
No, that's not.
Like,
that's not it at all. Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of like takes away.
No, it does, 100%. And also, like, I was watching someone say, and they were saying they were basing it off something that one of the developers of Downpour was saying, and they were going, we're taking it back to the series roots, and they're like, well, the series roots would have to involve the cult, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then they're going, I don't like the cult, and it's like you can't, and it's like you can't
choose.
It's like you can't just like decide that you don't like the cult and then say you're taking it back to the series roots. And then someone was listing all the stuff that involves. Oh, this is where we meet Eddie as well. I always think how sweaty the feet look.
Yeah,
it's like proper. No, but it's just like how bad.
Shit. Yeah, how
it's
like
like
twisted.
But it's just like all the graphics of like the environments look proper nice, and they're just like model these feet for us, and it's just like PS1 graphics feet. It's like graphics, but and someone was listing all the entries, and they were like Silent Hill 1 and 3 all on the cult. Silent Hill 4 involved the cult. Both films involved the cult.
Yeah.
Origins involved the cult slightly.
Yeah,
and they're like
more...
and they're like seven entries of the entire series involved the cult, but the one time it didn't, that's the series.
Yeah,
roots.
that is now.
And it's like,
that's how we see this game from now on.
Yeah, but I can see how that can be an issue. But I remember like also being really impressed with the cutscenes when I played it first time.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, they were
like,
way ahead of their time.
Yeah, it looks really good. These socks. He's got like sweatbands on.
Yes.
Even like the hair on the legs.
Yeah.
You can actually see.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, I love this piece of music as well.
He was like
It's called Ordinary Vanity.
Yeah, I mean,
My
again,
name's
the
James.
lights. I think that's the one thing the first 3 games probably do exceptionally well is but the like soundtrack.
Yeah.
Although I think by 4, because I think the composer helped direct number 4.
Yeah, so Akira Yamaoka, he was heavily involved with it. He was named producer by, I think, about Silent Hill 3.
Okay.
But it was still all the original team, so he wasn't as involved. And then I think during the production of 4, the team split into 2. The B team took on that, and he kind of had a bit more of a lead in that.
Okay.
But he even says himself he wasn't that involved. He just cared about the soundtrack. He wasn't that bothered about the game. They just kind of would show him the odd cutscene and be like, "You make a song for this," but he wasn't like properly overseeing it from beginning to end. Like, "Oh yeah, don't do that, do this." He was just like, "Is the game ready? Here's the soundtrack," kind of thing.
I mean, because he basically like made a new like genre of music, like horror chill.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
it's
like
nice.
a whole.
And there's a popular video that's on
I think you're
YouTube
gonna
as
get
well,
out here soon.
and I think it's almost like a lo-fi type thing before lo-fi was popular. It's been around for a few years, and it's called Silent Chill.
Okay.
And there's 2 versions. There's one of them is got old mix in the brackets. There's a newer one that isn't as good.
James,
but it's all the really chill songs from the first 3 games, and it's
Yeah.
like an hour and a half long, and it's just so cool to just have on in the back.
Well, yeah, because I mean, even compared to, I mean, like again, because it is the easiest thing to compare it to, like Resident Evil.
Yeah,
I mean those games also have amazing soundtracks in their own way, but there was something about having such a laid-back music, like juxtaposed with such a horrible setting.
yeah,
And I think, or in the past, video games always suffered from needing to have cheesy heavy metal over it.
yeah.
I mean, just imagine if, say, an American, an American team had made this.
Yeah,
It would be completely, but the whole tone of the game
yeah.
would be, let's rely on jump scares and...
Yeah, exactly. And I think from Origins, that's when it went westernized, because I think 4 was the last Japanese entry,
Yeah.
and I think I was supposed to meet Angela back there. 1 second, let me go get the second coin. I definitely meet Angela in a room, but I think
Yeah.
I should have done that in the last where I was.
It's
That's
after you meet or Eddie, you go back to, I think it's something like 109?
Yeah,
Is it?
And look, this is cool as well. So, in this, they mention Walter Sullivan, who's the villain in 4.
Okay. Yeah.
And they kind of build on this lore about the murder, and they killed himself in prison and all this stuff. And then in 4, he's the main kind of bad guy, and it's just so cool because it's kind of they just took a completely maybe not unrelated, but they took a completely minor news story clipping from the second game and been let's build, let's utilize that in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's only after you go back to 2 after 4 that you're oh shit, Walter was mentioned in this game.
Someone actually cared enough to try to link them in more than just name. Actually, I mean, I think a lot of the success of this is due to, I mean, if you think of horror movies around the time of this, we're talking 13 Ghosts.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
I mean, horror had got proper shit by then.
Yeah.
But you can tell that the first 2, especially Silent Hill games, were based on horror movies on kind of probably from the mid 90s to the early 80s.
Yeah.
When of course you have films but The Ring,
Yeah.
or movies that you watched recently.
Yeah, and also one that I've watched a few times recently that I'd never seen up until about a year ago, which was Jacob's Ladder, which really is very heavily influenced by... There's even a reference to it in this building. I'll show you when I can find it. So I definitely need to... I think... Have I got... Look how HD that old man's face is on it.
Look, but if you have a look at it, it looks like... Or Aleister Crowley.
Oh, it does.
It does, look. Yeah. It's proper scary.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think it was back in the other building.
Yeah, I think it's 109.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was in the separate... I think I was supposed to go...
Because it's a door, when you click on it, it says something
the key is in the first floor or whatever. So I think I was meant to go somewhere in that second building, because it's definitely, I'm sure it's on the ground floor. It's you go in a room and there's a big blue sliding door, and that's where you get the final coin for the puzzle after you speak to her.
Because she's in front of a big
mirror, yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the knife off her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it aimed for more of a psychological horror, which I'm which me and
I've heard
James are both more into, so more based on your kind of slow burn, which didn't really, I suppose, exist much in horror around the time of the these games were made. It was kind of being all kind of replaced by over the top Hollywood.
And also I think I've definitely heard about I've definitely heard that the Japanese like love things to do with like proper like psychological like films are everything's like very much about breaking down like the psyche of a person and exploring that. And I think I know where I need to go. I need to go back on the ground floor out the courtyard.
How many times have you like played this recently, James?
but I think I've done it about 5 times in the last couple of weeks because I've been trying to get all the different endings, and I've never got the UFO or dog ending. I've got this for the first time.
Can't remember what bloody door to go to.
But the thing is, it's also because I've introduced the commentary into
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm not like fully. I'm just on autopilot. I'm just running around.
I thought
I'm
you were going to
forgetting.
say, or kind of like it's my fault. You mean like, well, Rob talks so much
No,
shit.
it's because
I got focused.
It's because I'm like chatting away. I'm just kind of like I'm aimlessly just running and just talking, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh shit, where am I going? And also, there's one thing that exists. Well, there's a few little secrets in this game that exist, but there's also one thing I never got out of all the times I've played it up until recently. There's a sound that sometimes triggers in this building, which is a whisper.
Okay.
And it's when you go, I'll show you what room it is when we find it, and you might hear it in the headphones. It's like a 1 in 20 thing. It very rarely ever happens, but every time I've ever played the original one, it's never happened. And I played the HD one time recently, and I got it straight away. And I was like, I've never heard that. And then I looked it up, and everyone was like, yeah, it's like Team Silent put a lot of random one-off sound effects in these games that don't occur every time, only occasionally.
Oh.
1 second. So it's got to be this way. I think it's at the other end of the corridor.
So,
But also like all the sound effects. Oh, this is the room where Eddie was, wasn't it? So it's not in here.
wait, if you get the map up again, I swear it's in the original building.
Yeah.
It's on the 2nd floor.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, but
Oh,
I'm trying
I
to think.
think so.
But I'm trying to think where I get the key for it from because I don't have a key on me. I've only got the 2 coins so far, puzzle-wise.
I think you get the other one from where she is. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, I know I get the coin there, but the coin puzzle room in the original building here on the 2nd floor. I'm sure. Oh no, you get the key from inside it, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so it most likely is in here then. Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure she's on this level.
Yeah.
And then it's just because I remember when you like click on the door. Oh, maybe it's not this one. Oh my god. It's.
I know we get the fire escape key to pass into that second bit, but we get that I think after we speak to her. So it must be a door I haven't tried yet, but I think I've tried all of them.
Wait, you sure you can't open that fire escape? Because I swear I was able to.
You do get a key.
Because I did the fire escape before I met
Oh, okay.
Eddie.
Let's give it a go then. But I'm sure I tried it when I first came in here and it was locked.
Because I did the fire escape the first time I played it. Yeah, that's weird.
But I'm sure we get the key from the coin puzzle like cabinet. But I need to meet Angela in order to get the last puzzle.
Okay, so
But is there a staircase that only goes to?
try the 3rd floor. No, because she's holding a
Oh,
door
I haven't
shut.
tried that room 303.
Or kind of try that one, but she's holding a like. If you click on it before you meet Eddie,
Yeah.
it says something like not like "oh, this door is locked." It says like something is stopping you from being able to or open this door.
Okay. There's one room I haven't tried on this floor. I bet it's that.
But yeah,
But I'm pretty certain I met her on the ground floor. Ah, that's where we get it. I haven't picked up the key from Laura. You know, the one that
all the way
Laura.
background, yeah.
Yeah, the one that Laura stepped on your out. That's
There
where you
you
get the
go.
fire escape key. Then I think you get into the other side,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
then you
where
meet her there.
Yeah.
So that's why like I was able to do it
Ah.
before I met Eddie, because I told you like, I missed the key where you met
The courtyard,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's when I missed.
Oh, okay.
There you
Alright,
go.
cool. So we should be able to get that and then get on out. But yeah, I think it's when you go in the other side. There's a room you go into, and then you just hear a voice go, and it like talks for like a few seconds, but it's just like gibberish.
I mean, the audio through these headphones sounds insane. Like, again, the guys who did the enhanced version of this did such a slap-up job. Like,
Yeah, it's really great. Alright, so now I can get the key and I can get in the fire escape.
I mean, I'm sure James can put a link to the enhanced edition at the like. In the,
I'll put it in the
I'll
put it in the description.
Yeah, because those guys like
Deserve, yeah.
all the support you
There
can
we go.
throw them.
That's the fire escape key. Oh, and I think there's a health kit in here, or is it something?
Like, and we should try to like encourage like the guys who work on these things, because legally they can't get paid.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a legal like grey area with mods and stuff, where as long as they don't get paid for their work, like Konami can't really moan too much about it.
Yeah. But no, it's just, I mean, it's obviously like a passion project for them. So you can tell they take like pride in what they do. But to get the word out there about their work, I'm sure that's almost payment enough for them to know that people are liking and enjoying these.
Because really, but the dream would be that like Konami just like pay them to be able to use this and just release
like
this
an
on the
official
PlayStation
version.
4.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Because this would easily run on that hardware.
Yeah, no, it'd be great. But yeah, I'm very grateful to be able to be playing it this way now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this way. Cool. So now we can
Here
get
you
into
go.
the other side of the building.
Hey.
But yeah, I'll show you where that room is. That's a reference to Jacob's Ladder as well. Where that and I always think this is maybe a Razorhead reference. I know it's weird. I know it's probably grasping a bit, but there's that thing where in his bedroom, like outside his window, it's just a brick wall of another building right up against it. And there's loads of like David Lynch references, and well, not references, but like inspiration. So like I always just assume that, but it's just wishful thinking. And even like just stepping on the glass,
Yeah.
it's like really good attention to detail. Oh, and here's the toilet. Look at that in HD.
See, I missed this bit last time. Like, or
And like, listen to this sound effect in the headphones.
Let's have a listen. Ooh.
Oh, just like
That's a proper like huge log he's had to like break up there to get that key.
8110-3. Alright, cool.
But we were saying about like horror movies. I was playing Death Stranding recently, and you get those. I can't remember what they're called in the game, but they're like little like collectibles you can find, and then they appear in your like menu.
Oh yeah.
And they're usually something to do with like the old world. And one was the soundtrack to the original, not Suspiria, but the movie Deep Red by Dario Argento. And that's like some pretty trippy Italian horror.
And also there's I don't know if it's Argento as well. Who made the Black Cat?
That might be Lucio.
Oh, Lucio Fulci. Yes, sorry.
Like, here's my favourite. Like, who's my boy?
there's a Black Cat reference in Silent Hill 3. There's basically a bit. So this is the Jacob's Ladder reference. But people say it is anyway. Yeah. The director is called, I think, Jeff Lynne.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of ELO. Yeah. No, look. Right, here we go. So I'll read it again. So it says, "Dear Tim," and people think that's a reference to Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
And it says, and it's called the Linehouse Key. And I think the surname of the director of Jacob's Ladder is Lyne, Lyne.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's kind of cool.
And I think this is where we meet Andrew, in this bit of the building somewhere. Okay.
It's here.
Oh.
Right, and that's the next one.
Those painted boards always remind me of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, there's so much. Here, it's this one.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, this is the Whisper Room. Oh, no, it's not.
Oh.
Oh, no, that's the room it came from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, maybe it's a different floor. Okay.
Okay, it could be a different
Yeah,
floor.
I think it's downstairs. Alright, where's the fire escape? There we go. And here we get the map, yes.
But yeah, like they did a good job of making a horror game that didn't rely on horror in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like as much as you have like all the monsters, they're not really ever like a huge threat.
No.
I mean, Resident Evil, I hate these things. Hurt you so much.
Oh, the
little
bugs, yeah.
You have to. Okay, it's 109. I'm 100%
Okay,
certain.
okay, 1 sec.
Ooh, you're gonna die. Yeah, so you know, to get into spoilers again, if you spend a lot of the game with low health, like
Yeah,
you get a slightly different ending.
Yeah, you get the in-water ending. And also,
yeah, that's insane.
and also, if you inspect Angela's knife, she gives you more than once. Because it's
Yeah.
hint. Oh, here we go. No. Oh no, it's not. There's a no. I'm waiting for it. There is a room where you get a whisper in the headphones.
Whisper.
It's it. There we go. And one thing, of all the songs I really like in the soundtrack for 2, because this was really overly heavily used as the theme after the film, because it's in the film a lot.
They used it in the movie.
Angela.
Yeah.
Angela.
It's really over.
Okay.
Anytime you like Google Silent Hill
what you're
theme,
planning.
instead of like the first theme for the game, it always
way.
come up with this one.
Oh, rather than like
people
the
just-
original, like
Yeah.
that's sick.
Everyone like assumes this is like the main song of any of the.
But
And again, that's just like
you're the
adding
same
to
as
that
me.
thing of like everyone just goes straight
It's
to this
easy
game
just to
instead
run.
of the others. But look how cool! Like
Besides, it's
that
what we
looks all the
deserve.
textures of the walls and the ceiling,
No.
and
I'm not like you.
even like her jumper.
You
So,
afraid.
it's like super like you can almost feel it.
You can always feel
I'm
it.
sorry.
You can
wanna
like
feel that jumper?
you can tell how it would feel.
Did you find your mother?
So this is a perfect example of like the voice acting,
Not
Mm.
yet. She's not anywhere.
where
Did she live
without
in this
like
apartment building?
without like context,
I
it
don't
sounds a
know.
bit like shit.
Yeah.
So, all
But
you know
then
is
when
she
you take
lived
into
in this-
consideration what you find out
Did you
about
say?
Angela,
Yeah. Later on.
it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because people say
How do you
the
know
reason
that?
she's
Well,
her
just
delivery
figured
is a bit off
that's-
is because
is
she's a
where you're
bit
looking for her. How else would I know?
emotionally distant because of her past and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's
Am I right?
it's a way of hinting that there's something
I'm
a
so
bit wrong,
tired.
but not showing it outright.
And the fact, yeah, and that's why
So,
she's so
why did you
weird
come to
around
this
like
town anyway?
like James especially
Yeah.
as well.
I,
Oh, that's cool.
I'm sorry.
Look at radical trainers.
She did those laces
The person
like
you're looking for?
100%
Not
like
yet.
like
Her name's
like,
Mary. She's my
Like a pirate.
Pirate.
or like a pirate.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, she's
And also, I'm gonna try and make James's jacket soon because I've got like an
I don't know
Etsy
why
package on the
she's
way with all
here.
the patches,
Sick.
and they're like proper.
She's
Obviously, they weren't
dead.
meant to be like
Don't worry.
replicated or whatever that much.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
So
not
like,
crazy.
if you actually look at what they say and like the designs on them, it's proper just like the first thing they thought of, just like that looks like what you'd have on a jacket.
Oh,
like
there's a bit
this.
of blue and reds, that will do.
This town's dangerous. Now I know what you meant back there in the cemetery.
I'll be okay by myself. Besides, I'd just slow you down.
Here it comes.
What about that?
Will you hold it for me?
Sure. No problem.
If I
You got
kept
a
it,
knife.
I'm not sure what I might do. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be back. Please, don't.
Yeah, and that's where you get the final coin. Now we can go do
There
that
you go.
and get out of it and get to the park, get to the hospital,
So I did.
get a COVID vaccine.
So, yeah, quickly, or like, or kind of like if there's any left.
Yeah.
Or kind of. Oh
I think the control was disconnected.
no, no. What's going on? Here you go. After all the love for the HD version. That's weird. Oh, oh, look, it's all gone off now.
It's alright.
There
Okay,
you go.
cool. That's all good. That's cool. Alright, so now we got the. Oh, I'm sure
Okay,
that's
so we
okay,
should get to the coin room.
Yeah.
Where is the coin room?
That Alice. That's gonna like always. That's what I'm gonna think of every time I think the old man called his Alistair Crowley.
Yeah, it does look like Crowley.
It's got to be this one.
Wait, because it's in like a room.
Oh yeah, no, it's there.
Okay, cool. Oh, nice. Right, let's see if he remembers.
I think I do. 1 second. So I think it's old man.
So this is where like whoever decided that you have to go through 3 fucking menus every time you want to move a coin,
Yeah.
or deserves a slap at Team Silent.
And also, it very rarely ever uses. I think it's this, and then the woman at the end. But it very rarely auto uses items. You know, like some games,
Yeah.
it's just like it will. If you're at the right thing, it will just go. You use this without you even knowing. Oh no, it's the wrong way around.
It's like a way to make it artificially hard.
Yeah.
Like you could because you can like click on something and you expect it to be used, and it's like no. You didn't go into your inventory and push A on it. It's like,
well, that's the thing. You
bastards.
can easily miss so much if you don't. There was a section when I recorded it on the PS2.
There you go.
There you go. See, Linehouse. Yeah, that's the Jacob's Ladder reference. And then we just have to go back upstairs.
Going through the fire escape.
Oh,
I know what's next.
Yeah, and also, what do you call it? There was a room. I got a key in for the labyrinth, and I picked it up without realising, and then I got really stuck on a section. I was going in circles. This is a room with a whisper. But it would have done it by now if it did.
Oh,
But now and again, you'll just hear like.
that's so cool.
But and I'll do my first save here as well.
Well, should we maybe call it an episode here?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
I have no idea how long we've been recording, but it's at a good point where we're just about to leave the apartments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll save it. And then this can be part 1. Do you want me to overwrite, or do you want me to do a new save?
Yeah, we'll just do a new one, just in case.
Alright, cool. So that's the end of part 1. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been me and Rob, and
Cool.
we will catch you for part 2 soon.
See ya.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.